All right, good afternoon and welcome to the program Inside Motherhood here on Spectrum Television. This is a program, the coming together of, would I say, different mothers? Well, motherhood is actually a process where I won't say every woman, not every woman passes through that stage or comes to that stage. Motherhood is a stage where a woman attains, and then I would say you're being called a mother. You must have shown some good qualities of accommodating, of carrying weights that are even way more bigger than you. But of course, you have the capacity to thing. It's a great achievement, trust me, because it has so many tasks inside of it. So welcome once again. This is the program Inside Motherhood here on Spectrum Television. The program talks about what you need to know about motherhood, when it has to do with the family, it has to do with intending mothers, ladies. You have a sister, even men as well. Sometimes we have a lot of men listening to and watching this program more than the women, because this program would help you know what you never really knew about your wife, or what your wife may never really knew about herself. And of course, you get to educate her as well. Please, what are your duties as a mother? What are those things you need to do? What are those things you need to put in place as a mother? Well, of course, here in Nigeria, last week Tuesday, everybody goes back to school. But before then, some preparations may have been made, or if they haven't been, you still have tomorrow, you still have Monday, you still have that week, of course, to put things in place, even as school goes. My name is Rachel David White, and today I'm being joined here in the studio by a very beautiful, contentful. Yeah, I like addressing her as contentful because, trust me, Mary Jonas is actually, of course, you can see her already, a very bold and beautiful lady, full of content, full of words, and of course, advice for you today. And she is a mother. Of course, she has kids, and despite the fact that she has kids, motherhood, it comes with changes. It comes with changes. It can change you into who you never expected yourself to be. Take a look at, okay, there are some people that say, oh, I'm gonna look cool when I'm pregnant. And then
you can't control that.
So when they get pregnant, oh my God,
Everything
changes. Your body draws, your legs swollen, your face, your nose, your eyes, everything. Oh my goodness. So
that's part of motherhood.
So you can't. It's part of motherhood, and then having children, and then you're still back to able to build back yourself. Is a plus actually. So I must say, welcome once again, beautiful Mary.
Thank you.
Okay, so you can actually put in place the place of a mother, of course, in preparing the kids back to school and during the school process, all through until, of course, holiday comes again. So let's get to know those things, and today we're also discussing some of those things, and you get to learn the things you never really knew before. So there are some things a mother should do, and then sometimes it keeps your memory, maybe because of other things, but there are some things that you should never miss as a mother doing, and then there are some duties you should never assign to anybody. So it's your duty, no matter how hard it is, no matter how tight your schedule is. This is your duty, and runs. Okay. I know that. So some families, school runs is something that is being shared between the father and the mother,
and caregivers too.
Yeah, and caregivers. But today we're going to look at the place of a mother. Yeah, in doing all of those things. Let's get to find out first. Let's start with the holidays. Themselves, yes, to stay at home. What is that holiday meant for? Is it just a time for the kids to play, gain back their body? Of course, sometimes school stress could just make a child look lean, look like...
Especially those of them in boarding houses.
Yes, not just in boarding houses. There are those ones that leave the house in the morning, attend lessons, and come back late. So is it just a time to... for that child to just refresh, get well again and get back to school? I know that there are some parents that once holiday comes, it's going to be a tough time for them, so they quickly send the kids to holiday lessons. And then well, some people are of the opinion that those weeks, especially when the holidays are short, is not a time to send the kids out for for lessons, since they are already getting this knowledge from school, and then they are going back there to get it again. But what is that holiday meant to be, okay, meant to look like for the children?
First of all, it is a holiday, so the children are supposed to come back home and rest. I better just send these children away and all that. So holidays basically is for the children to come back home and rest. And people should understand that play is part of development for the children. Play is part of, for your child to grow up as a healthy child. The child needs to study, is important, but the child needs to play, and the child needs to cry. These are all healthy part of, you know,
when you said a child needs to cry,
yeah, a child needs to cry.
So I'm like, imagine my child is watching this program, say, oh, so this auntie says the child needs to cry, so my mom is gonna come back and then once in a while make me cry.
No, because you know, sometimes a child will cry and you're like, they're having the holidays, just allow them to rest, especially the first 2 weeks. Allow them to rest, allow them to play. Put every school project aside, just let them be, because you know, I build up to the holidays, usually a period for exams. So you find out that these children are reading so much, studying so hard to write these exams and to pass, and then they come back home. Rather than let them relax and, you know, relax their brains, you're sending them away. So rather, what I advise is, once they come and they have, no matter how short the holidays are, when they get back home, allow them to rest, at least for the first week or first 2 weeks. Then after that, now as the rest, of course, you know, they are playing, they have leisure and all that. Then after that, you can introduce other things like maybe reading books that are not not in the curriculum, you know, reading ordinary like novels. In fact, I always advise parents to introduce novels to their children. Let them broaden their knowledge. Yes, in coding and all that. So it doesn't have to be about books, because by the time you make it about books, about academic books, it becomes boring. Then at the end of the day, you've wasted the entire holidays. That they go back to school and everybody is saying, oh, during holidays I went visiting an auntie, I went doing this, and your child is saying, during holidays we're always reading. Like the child wakes up in the morning, does not even advisable. So the holidays is meant for the child or for the children to come back home, relax, you know, put everything, probably a week to resumption. You can now reintroduce, because you're now preparing them mentally. You introduce their school work and all that. You take care of their projects. So make sure
freshen your memory.
You refresh their memory. If they had if they have a holiday project, then you bring that in, and then you begin to prep them. You begin to follow the routine of waking up on time. You know, you're gradually making them, you know, bringing them back into the system, so it doesn't come like abruptly. And you know, so by the time school resumes, you're not fatigued, you know, you're not fagged out and all that, because you're already prepared. So basically, the first few weeks of the holidays, the children should just rest, do whatever they're supposed to do, under your supervision, of course. Then few weeks, or maybe like a week to resumption, you can now reintroduce anything academics. But before they, you know, they have rested.
Okay. There's something we talked about, crying, and then it just sparked up something in my head when recently a doctor said, if your baby is sucking and is not, you know, communicating with you as a mother, is not smiling, you should be worried that there's something wrong with that baby. Okay, so coming back to the topic on ground, we're discussing about the role of a mother. Yeah, in preparing the kids to go back to school. And then, of course, we've established, you've said some things about you know, what the holiday is actually meant for. Of course, the time for the children to rest and as well learn, because learning is very, very necessary. Okay, now I'm going to be using a lot of examples. Okay. Yes, so that our parents at home can also understand. Now, once school starts, there's this anxiety that just comes as a mother. Sometimes it's a feeling that, oh, it has started again. And sometimes for some parents who have lots of help, it's like, oh, what a relief.
Yeah.
Like the government says on the 24th day of April, school is starting. What are those things you need to put in place? What are those things that are necessary for you to do as a mother?
First of all, as a mother, because the men may not have the time to do all the checks, while the children are resting, you should begin to prep on time, because rush hour is usually not advisable. Now, you know these children will go back to school. You have to check their uniforms on time. You need to you realize that the shoes were tight.
Oh, yeah.
And they had not made any provision. They were like, why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you tell me your shoe was you were outgrowing your shoe and all that? So these are some of the things you should check. You take your time. You check their uniforms. Make sure if they need replacements, then you make plans for that. You check their shoes. Make sure their socks are complete and all the legs, are put together and all that. Then you begin to like a week two. You begin to help them pack their closet, put things in place. Some of them will have to go back to boarding schools,
yeah.
or some of them, even while they're going from home. These children, I don't know about any other home, but so it is your place as a mother to make sure that everybody gets your things in place.
For me, there is something called uniform basket. So whatever you need, your panties, your stockings, everything your ties is in your uniform basket. So even when you come back from school, put them in your uniform basket.
So nobody runs around.
Even when your clothes are dirty, there's
parents don't even know that. So at the end of the day, once school is up, everybody's running around. Oh, where are your shoes?
Something happens sometimes. You want to do laundry, you want to wash, and then you're now trying to wash. Sometimes you're washing and you don't know that the socks are not complete.
They're not complete.
So on the day, and then you have to look for. You now discover that, oh my goodness, it was dirty.
And
you see.
So that's why you need to take your time
and if you have a kind of school that has their socks crested, so you can't try.
Any other socks.
So you have to use that dirty sock. So what happens is, when you put your clothes when they are dirty in the laundry, uniform laundry.
Do these things just few days to resumption. So you take your time, because as for the sake of your own mental health, because by the time you leave these things and you begin to rush over it, it affects you. And I keep emphasizing, when a child is on holidays, you're on holiday, whether you're working or not, once they resume, you've also resumed.
Yeah, you have. As a mother,
because you need to wake up earlier, you make breakfast, you prepare the lunch box. To that line. Whenever we were to go back to school, we used to have this trunk box. So my mom will bring the trunk box and empty everything, and then she begins to check. She will check your cutleries, your uniform. Make sure if she finds an uniform without your name on it, you explain how you got that. So we're usually very careful. So even before we come back, we made sure we checked everything, because by the time we go back, my dad didn't have that time. My mom will check everything from before. So everything that got missing, she will, of course, penalize you. Yes.
And
it's your job as a mother to check.
And then there was a time my parents were separated.
Okay.
Yes, for 7 good years before they came back together.
Okay.
So my mommy would normally she checks your undies,
everything.
So because she never had the chance to check them at home again, do you know what she did? She now found, even when you change school, the librarian is her best friend. So in every school you go to, the librarian is always her best friend. You know why? Because she would be able to say, how are you, man? The lady says I'm fine. So, okay, I want to see Rachel, and say, okay, they call you. And then she takes you to the library. Let me see the punch you want to see. So even when she wasn't with us, she would always come to school to check
those
panties you wore to school. And then if they are not, they are getting bad, she will bring you new ones to school.
Yes.
So
that's your mother.
So anytime you see your mother in school,
those are some of the things as a mother you need to do. So you check them, and you make sure that whatever needs to be replaced,
of course,
gets replaced a week or 2 weeks too. So as they're going back to school, you're relaxed. Else, the rush can break you down. Can break you down. Yes. And then one other important thing that parents fail to do is to talk with the children. Now, some of them will come back with not so good results. You can do better. I know you can do better. As a matter of fact, I place rewards. I introduce reward system, and some people may not like it because I mean you don't have to pay a child to read and all that, but I understand what rewards.
I remember when my mommy would say, if you take between one, first, second, third, and
Third.
fourth, trust me, you don't know what I'm going to give to.
Yes.
She was not going to mention. And then you come back home with fourth, and you say, Mommy, that thing. She said, you should have taken second. You should have taken first.
But that one is not.
No. And then you come back the next time. She will still say, I didn't mean it was just second or first. I would have done this particular thing, but let me do this one.
For you.
And though you come back again, maybe with second, you say, what even happened to that first? I'm still going to do this one, but once that first comes, so you know it's poured you up not to just go and relax.
If you have, like I said, even in a corporate organization, we have motivation,
of course,
you know, and if there's no motivation, a lot of people can just leave the organization because I mean, no matter what we do, I think management does not recognize and all that. Yeah. So the reward system is very psychological. The reward system is very good. So, and it works with children. It makes you come back better. This is what I'm going to do for you. Now, something happened with my child, and I promised her one outing, and I think she came seventh or so. So I told her the first third. I promised her if you come first third, this is what I'm going to do for you. And by the time she got her results, in fact, when they said she would go and check that she was checking to see if someone took first, second. She was just checking for those positions to make sure nobody has, if that place is not filled up and all that. So as soon as I got her results and she came third, she was like, Mommy, let's go straight Chicken Republic. I was like, mention anyway. You know, but at least I know she works at that. Sometimes she will come back and I do her favorite program, like, won't you watch? Because I monitor what she watches and all that. She told Mommy, no, I'm not done with my project. I'm not done with this one. I'm done with this. And if I'm like, what if they're done with the program? She will say, no problem. How long it takes once you make a promise, no matter how long, they will work towards it. Yeah. So introducing the reward system is very good. So, and again, you talk to them about bullying, about molestation, about everything as they're going back to school. Now, even in boarding houses, it is sad, but I have this information that even some teachers are beginning to molest children in boarding houses. And I read about a sad story of a child that was actually, a condom was left in her. That she was molested by an adult in school, in a boarding school. So now you talk to later discovered and all that, the child had died. So you speak to them about molestation. You tell them the parts nobody's supposed to touch and the things they're supposed to do if they notice anything. A child in JS2 told me that they have a teacher that comes, a male teacher, and these things happen. It goes either then when he's bending down to pick it, watching, he's always peeping through their That's why it's even advisable for mothers to ensure that even if you get them petticoats, get them tights or any undi that's like a short and all that.
Trying to actually notice that, come on, this is how the man
does. So
must have done it
often. And I now told them, okay, if he continues, make sure a teacher is aware, you know. So these are some of the things you should talk to them about. Let them be aware. Let them be, because there are some children that will come that will not have this knowledge, but by the time you speak to your children, give them this understanding, by the time they go back to school, they become the advocates even in school. Then you see them telling their colleagues, if the teacher does this, tell me, or will go and tell Miss this or Miss that. So you talk to them, they talk to them about bullying, because you have a lot of bullying going on in a lot of schools. So beyond boarding schools, even in day schools, you have a lot of children bullying their classmates and all that. So you talk to them about the dangers of bullying and what they should do in an instance where they get bullied. And you also watch out that your child is not even a bully, because from the way the child relates to people around him or around her, you can pick if your child has a tendency of bullying others. So you don't leave these things to just teachers. You don't expect when they go to school, the teachers are going to talk to them and all that. I don't even know how many schools have counselors. You know, beyond academic counseling.
I think that's something that maybe should be looked into in the school
Yes.
system.
Yes.
I remember in the days when I was in secondary school, we had, oh, this child must be going through something. There must be something wrong with this child. Comes to you and then tries to find out. Must be a friendly one,
Yes.
that is always going around checking on the kids. Oh, how are you doing? And then probably comes. You're able to talk to the person. Oh, this is what I'm facing. This is what is happening, and the person tells you, okay, go around it this way or go around it that way, or if it's possible, calls your father to talk to you.
Yes.
I've actually, heard about a father who takes that there is a way this child behaves with the father. When the father, because no matter how you try to pretend the child won't be happy, even when the child is smiling, you could see fake smiles. And so the teacher got so close until she was able to get the truth
from the child.
Yes, that wasn't her father, but her stepfather, and has been molesting her for a long time. So school has a good role to play.
Yes, but before you even send them off to school, that's okay. This was based on what the story you just gave. This is a father molesting a stepfather molesting the child. Now, if the mom was observant,
yes,
probably she would have noticed
from the house,
something from the house, because
according to them, the mom felt so comfortable leaving the child with the stepfather. I've also had one that just happened recently where not hearing do anything. At the point the child was so, that obedient child was able to open the mouth and tell the mom, do whatever you want to do, I'm tired, mom. And she's like, no, just tell me who's responsible. She was no more harsh.
Okay.
Like, just tell me who the father of this child is.
Yes.
And then she couldn't say what. At the point she turned and looked at the stepfather.
Oh, okay.
So the mother just followed the eyes and looked at the stepfather as well. Oh, and said, did you do it? And the man was quick to say, no, I wouldn't have. So when the man said, no, in front of that child, it could push the child back in. So, and the child would say, no, he didn't do it. But the child was able to just keep quiet. And then the mother kept asking and kept looking at the guy. So until the mother was able to, get to the root of the whole thing.
You see. So it's really, I think mothers should be more attentive, and they should talk more with the children. Be more attentive time to spend with your children and talk with them.
Of course.
So as don't just send them for. I think it's not just about buying them school supplies, school bags, shoes, and all that. Their uniforms. You've paid their fee. Feed them with enough information. Then let them confide in you. If there are teachers that they are not comfortable with, you should be able to talk to you about them. If there are classmates that are not comfortable with, ask them questions. As a mother, don't just give your children supplies and send them out. These children face a lot out there.
Of course.
And this school environment, I think, is where they spend, apart from during holidays,
almost
their lives.
They're not doing this. They are. So they have a tight schedule.
Yes.
So for mine, they leave the house very early. The school bus waits and then brings them. Watch a little movie, learn, do their homework, go to bed tomorrow morning. And this happens
every day.
Every day,
every day.
And then when you look at this child, sometimes it shows on their body, it tells on them.
Yeah.
So one day I just sat on my own and say, wow, these kids are really going through a lot. Because where they are not comfortable. They're doing and a whole lot of that for a whole day, 5 days in a week. So it's something.
So they spend most of their times out there. So if you don't take your time to talk with them and to get to know what they feel, how they feel, what they're going through, and all things, they can pick up something good and pick up some negative things too. But basically, beyond, as you're preparing them to go back, beyond school supplies, make sure you prepare them physically on everything, then you prepare them mentally so that they can just blend. Don't just leave everything to chance, or don't think, oh, they're just children or they know better. And as you're sending the child maybe to just to a boarding school, I think your job is even greater because you have to take your time and talk. Then if this child is up to 13 and is going up to boarding school, and tell the child, in case you wake up one day and you see blood, don't panic. These are the things you're supposed to do. Because if you don't prepare them and they go back to school and it happens when they're in school, they will run to a friend that may not even know.
You know, sometimes no matter whatever information they get at that time, that's the one that sticks into their
That's the
head.
one that sticks, you know. And like I said, I was in a boarding school, and I have a friend that it happened. She told her friend, and what they just picked somebody's check and tore and folded it, and she used it. And by the time she got back home, it was a teacher that noticed, and they took her, rushed her to the infirmary, took care of her, and all of that. She knew nothing. Even when it has not, if it has happened, this child knows everything. You've already spoken with the child and all that, but if it has never happened, because some girls are late bloomers.
Yes.
If it has never happened, but each time she comes back and she goes back to school, goes back to school, once she's a teenager, and she has that is why a lot of parents need to be informed, and you're sending her to school. Yes, it has not happened, but it happens, and send them to school. Then tell them, once it happens, once you see the blood, don't panic. This is how you're supposed to use the pad and all that. Then when you get to school, talk to a female teacher. Tell the female teacher what has happened.
Not just telling them to talk to a female teacher. Sometimes I think as a parent, it's good for you to go close to your child's class teacher or anybody.
I'll give so that somebody has a responsibility over the child.
Call, hello, school. I made her hair, a quick one. So when she got to school, the hair was not that long. Okay. So she played and it got bad. The teacher had to weave it. Oh. So that's the point we've gotten to. So there's this teacher that even when my child has left her class, still goes to another class to check on her. Okay. Yeah, another higher class to check
that's
on
very
her.
Important.
If there's anything, let you know, that has been delivered in school, maybe sent to you or something. Maybe there's a need or something, and the child doesn't really understand. But if you have someone like that in school that could tell you,
look out for the child.
Yeah, sometimes tell you, okay, watch your child in class.
Oh, that's nice.
Yes, you watch your child in class, how the child is doing, how the child is faring, until you decide when to go. But the child does not see you. Okay. Yeah, you're the only person that sees the child. So this is my child in school.
It's very important. So if most schools can introduce that, because I've never heard of that. Okay, so I've never. It does not have. I just think there's some schools that if you go before they dismiss, they will tell you.
No, they won't even allow you to take the child.
Different subjects, teachers, and all that. I know about that.
This one just
observing the child.
Yes, could be 3 parents in a day.
Okay.
Come watch your child
from a distance.
Yes,
that's really nice.
Watch your child.
Most schools can introduce
so the whole day.
You are there observing.
Yes, only you and the teacher and the school management knows that you're
there in school.
So whatever your child, whoever your child is, a bully, whatever, takes things in school. There's some kids that you tell eating and they're looking and taking from other, and all of that. So you get to watch. And then there's another thing. When I was younger and I was in school, there's this movie that used to trend then, where a child gave another child biscuits just for just open the pack. I removed just 4 and gave it to the child, and when the child got it, the child did not eat it because the mother said, don't eat anything someone gives to you. He forgot to show it to the mom. And then the next day, the mom was checking school bags, like I do check my kids' school bags. Because sometimes you see that they're about to take something, maybe their toys from home to school, or they're taking somebody. If I see an eraser, a pencil that doesn't belong to the house, I'm calling your school. What's this? Where did you get this from?
My mom dealt with me when she saw something. I went to school because she used to check. And so I was always I was in primary school. I used to be very careful with my things. She told me, because my mom is going to beat me. I kept the store and she didn't have to replace. But when I go home, of course, I don't know. I think it was the very following day she came with a brand new ruler to school and gave me a replacement for the one she broke. And this was a brand new ruler, unlike mine that was already rough and all.
Where did you get it?
Where did you get this one? Because your ruler is old. The ruler I get to see is old. How come you have a new ruler? Did your father buy this? I was like, of course, my father never used to buy her school supplies. He used to give her the money to go to my own job market, of course.
To buy.
So I started stammering, and I told her that happiness broke my ruler, and she brought a replacement. She was like, "Did you tell me that someone broke your ruler?" I said, "No."
How did you even get a replacement?
Why did you ask her to replace it? I
Yeah.
said, I didn't ask her. She just replied, and she very close. It was a public primary school. So she said, "You know where she stays?" I said, "Yes." She said, "Okay, we are going to their house," and I started shaking. I don't know the way they brought us up those days in the
My own
80s.
father would put you in the car. You said you were here. He said yes, that he would put you in the car
And
drive
take
you.
you.
Sir, did you see my daughter?
I'm telling you,
Did she buy from this
I'm
shop?
telling
Once
you.
he hears yes, let's
You're in
go
trouble.
back.
I said,
If he says no, I haven't seen this child.
you're in trouble. You know, when we got to the house, when we got to when we got to the house, we met her father, and my mom tabled the matter that my daughter brought back this. I said it's happiness that gave it to her as a replacement. Since I came to return it, I'm so sorry. The father was like, "But we didn't give happiness."
So you
Money
get to get a new ruler. You've brought problems to another child's
So
house.
what called happiness? What happiness give? Did you break somebody's solar? Yes. Did you tell me you broke somebody's solar? No. Did you tell your mother? No. Who gave you the money? Auntie. Which auntie? That auntie was already in trouble. Before we left there, happiness was receiving some strokes of and by the time we go home, I got mine.
Of course.
Do you understand? So I think parenting those days was more deliberate.
Yeah.
But these days, I think we are just interested in
Pampering
making
the child.
making good hairs, taking them to parties, fast food. We don't pay attention to the things we're supposed to pay attention to, and that is why for children that were raised, I was raised in the early 80s, than the children we have. Then you will not find a teenager wanting to drive a car and wanting to live in a big house and all of that. So there were processes. So I'm advocating that we as parents that got such training should begin to reintroduce. Now, probably if you bring a child up the way we were brought up, some of the children of these days will see it as you're being wicked, you're being mean, and all of that. I tell you the truth, it has helped me. It has like each time I remember my mom and all the scolding, all the
Where I stayed was an elderly woman's house, and then the woman was able to. First day he saw my dad, he said, "Your daughter stayed in my house as if she's staying with the parents. You know, nobody comes to visit, and then she's always home on time. She's always checking if, as if there is somebody monitoring her. Her parents are here." Then I have those kind of parents that someone would say, "Oh, can you visit me in Uyo?" And then Uyo is just 30 minutes away from there. And then, if anything happens, so I'll start thinking, so if I have an accident and they call my daddy, "Oh, your daughter has an accident." And he said, "No, my daughter is in a cat." Not in Uyo. Drops the calls at that point. You love to be careful. So I was talking about checking school bags.
Okay.
Yes, to see that whatever is in your child's school bag
belongs to the child. Yeah.
And whatever your kid brings from school is not your kid's thing, you have to find out which child owns that thing.
Yes.
And give it to that child.
Yes.
It could be the child is crying looking for it.
Yeah.
And then so I was sharing a story, a movie we watched back then that my mom would always remind us of that movie.
Okay.
So when the mother was about washing, checking the school bag the next morning, saw 5 fingers. 5 human fingers.
In place of the biscuits.
4 human fingers. And was like, "Where did you get human fingers from?" I said, "How?" I said, what remind us? Remember the 4 fingers? So all through our days in school.
Yes.
And then she would even tell us, don't share your food with any child in school.
Yeah.
Let the child call you whatever the child wants to. Don't share your food with anybody. It got to a point where we started growing up, attending lessons. That's when she started giving us food or maybe money to get something. But you see, at the point she stopped. You don't take food to school because a teacher could be looking or anything could pass through anybody. So you were always careful. And I think at the point when my younger brother was in school and then a teacher opened his food, I don't know if the teacher and then another child did something else, said, okay, a small boy. So came back from school and was saying, do again. Had to say, this must be a very serious thing. Mommy, my teacher P, I know that he has a female teacher. What could have happened in school? So the mother had to take the child to school and say, what happened? He said, oh, I went to make him ease himself. So I just used that time to ease myself as well. that child was finished. To be careful. You have to learn your child's language as well.
Yes.
Because there are some children that don't speak. They don't speak. But if you know their body language, if you have a baby and then you pick up your baby and your baby is feeling uncomfortable, you should know what's happening to that child. Because that child can't talk at that point. But you as a mother would just take, needs water.
Yes.
And take water. Everybody will be like, really?
How does she know? Yeah.
Needs to sleep. So you have to learn your child's language as a mother as well.
As a
Even
mother.
when they are grown up and they can talk. Sometimes you meet a child in front of people and you ask, what is wrong? The child may not be able to say it. My younger sister, when she was in secondary school, was always bullied by one teacher. So one day, she talked to me, and then since my mom was no longer with us, and then I was grown up, I went to school. That was in secondary school. I went to school. I went to meet the Arabic teacher. You know, once the teacher saw me coming, he immediately carried my sister. Irene, come and sit on my laps. So, you know, at that point, she knows that there is somebody watching out for this child.
Yes.
And then when she had admission into university as well, there was one lady that was bent on frustrating her. At a point, she would say, okay, I think there's a point where she talked about parents. She said her parents are late. She said, so the thing got serious. Other students were just, you know, I predicted they got what they want. She kept on holding my sister. So she would always cry. So one day I left office, I went to see. So to her at the point, she thought since she said the parents are late, nobody watches out for her again. So she was able to just do anything she wants with her. So the day she saw me come, and then I spoke with her, and she said she really apologized, and then had to go and check her documents where she had kept it and kept on telling her, come back again. Come back again. Yeah.
She went and she brought it out.
Yeah, she brought it out and attended to her.
No, that's another point. You see, when our children are grown, we tend to relax because we think they're free and they know everything. So, still talking about going back to school. So you have a child in the university and the child is about to go to school and all you do is, what do you need? How much do you need? You give the school fees and you give money. All this because I do a lot of talking as a profession, of course. Probably that's the reason but I know, even the Bible says that that life and death is in the power of the tongue, and we know also that words are life, words are seeds. So you have a child in the university, and all you want to do is just give this child money, and because you think she's in the university, so she's big. As a matter of fact, I have an uncle that the child just left secondary school, and she was with me, and she misbehaved. I called her, and my uncle was like, "Can I speak vernacular here?"
Okay. Sure, of course.
And he was like, I said, Uncle,
the child is grown,
and she just leave her. I told them not in my home.
Of course, under your care.
Under my care, because
you know one thing in when we were growing up, so my cousins tend to spend time in my house during holidays. So my mom would accommodate everybody from my dad's side, from my mom's side. In fact, at the point, my father built like a gazebo. So when all the kids come, we gather here to eat, we gather here to play. So every child gets turned in our house.
Yes.
No matter who you are. So nowadays, now that people are grown, even when my mom is not there again, whenever they want to get married, want to do something,
they come there.
Yeah, they always have to.
Of course.
Report. She doesn't pamper.
No.
She loves.
Yes.
So there. Oh, you know, I was grown, I was married, and there's certain colors I couldn't paint on my nails because I was scared.
Yes.
So my mother would say, oh, you feel you're grown to paint these colors. So there are some things she said, oh, your husband likes them, that's fine. But there are some things that she feels, you know, is part of ethics of life.
Yes, you shouldn't do it.
Yes.
My mom, I came to school, my mom till tomorrow she doesn't like blonde.
Oh yeah.
Blonde hairs.
Yeah.
So I came and I made blondes in school. And I went back home. That was my second year, if I'm not mistaken.
So Mary's grown.
Yes, I'm grown. So I made this and I got back home. And she welcomed me. Oh, welcome. How was school? I said, fine. She allowed me, I unpacked, relaxed, ate. The following day, she gave me scissors. She said, cut the teeth. So I was like, She said, cut the teeth. Mama. You see, cut the teeth. But when you're back in school, you can go crazy. but your own
My
don't
own doesn't
you know.
permit you to go crazy anywhere.
No, no,
Yeah, but
this was
I
just
know,
for
yeah.
telling you you're
Be careful,
still my
yes.
child. Now, till I left school, I never carried blonde, because I knew she doesn't like it. No, so you're telling me that this child is grown, that I should let her be.
Okay,
What?
I know we are talking, and then I just
Okay.
checked my time, and then we're running out of time, so I
Fine.
have 1 minute to just wrap it up.
Okay. Okay. So basically, we were supposed to talk about sending children back to school. Okay. So prepare their as they're preparing their supplies, prepare them mentally, talk to your child, whether they're going back to boarding houses, whether it's a day school, whatever it is. Make sure you take your time, prepare their supplies, then talk to them. That's basically it. Very
All
important.
right, thank you so much, beautiful Mary Janice. Contentful, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you.
All right, back to the people. Yes, this is the program Inside Motherhood, and a mother has a whole lot of roles to play in the life of a child. Whether your child is going back to school, is coming back from school, is staying in school, is staying at home, everything, you have a big role to play in that child's life. But for the sake of today's program, we're talking about preparations while your child goes back to school. So you have a lot to do as a mother. You as well need to check your child's grades, your child's homework, everything, your child's clothes, how does your child even eat in school? A whole lot of things to check. Your child's nail, hair, everything entirely is what this particular session, so you know how to go around it. All right, this is where we take a break for today. Of course, there are other tips that you need to know for yourselves, or also read up to find out for yourself. But today, this is where we close the curtains on today's program, Inside Motherhood. We've been joined live by Mary Janice, who came on the show today, and she's been giving us amazing tips. Meanwhile, don't forget to follow us on social media, subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website, spectrumtv.ng.